Remember that time Scooby-Doo teamed up with the WWE in general?
Yeah.
That great Academy Award-winning movie?
It was a good one.
It was better than most Raws as of late.
Sadly.
But look, I'm going to be straight up with you. This Raw that just passed wasn't that bad. In fact, it was so unbad that I was like, oh man, now I am compelled to watch more, which can only mean that they're going to pull out the rug from under me and anally rape me next week.
Yep.
Or possibly this SmackDown.
Yep.
It's coming. But let's hope not. However, it's not like I started enjoying it because Seth Rollins came out and, after he babbles on for a bit, Baron immediately comes out and confronts him, which, just put a dildo straight up my ass in terms of joy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's bad. Baron, not cool. But I got to give him credit. He knew how to get the heat working for him. Now, I don't mean that as an excuse for Baron. He's a goddamn piece of shit. But, if you can work the heat to get hotter, I guess that he deserves at least a little notch on his belt for that. However, it's still the wrong kind of heat.
Yeah.
People just fucking hate him. This was like nuclear boos, dude. Like Godzilla can't match this type of boo.
Yeah.
Apparently Godzilla boos, but the point is, this was like non-stop cavalcade of boos. I've never heard boos louder than this. Here's the problem, WWE Universe. First, Scooby-Doo is in the dead shot center of this shit. Second, if you boo him because you dislike him, Vince is only going to translate that as, oh, look at that, he's getting good heat, and give you more Baron.
It's a lose-lose scenario. If you don't react, then you're going to get more Baron.
The real answer is don't react to this piece of shit at all. Ever. Silence. But that's not going to ever happen. So, the mere fact that this guy sucks guarantees that we're going to get more of him, which is god-awful. But anyway, he was god-awful, and that's bad. But he did mention that he was, in his match with Seth at Stomping Grounds, he was going to get to select a ref because he's using his pool backstage, and that it was his choice. Whoever he wanted to be the ref could be the ref. All right, I guess. Still not interested in this match. At this point, Sami Zayn comes out and says he agrees with Baron Corbin. And I'm like, why are you dragging Sami down further again to ally him with this piece of garbage? Answer, I don't know, because what was the point of that? It didn't say he was going to be the ref, although I guess that's implied later on. But he goes on and on about supporting Baron. And then Seth Rollins menaces Sami Zayn, threatens him, and KO comes out and he's like, I don't like you menacing my friend. Let's fight.
No.
Gayest resolution ever.
It's a good setup right there.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but when you're two straight guys trying to be tough,
really
you defending
gay.
your wrestling friend, going, I'll fight for him and his honor, is pretty gay.
And not in a cool way.
Not in a cool way at all. So that was set up for the main event. Spoiler, not a great main event, but could have been worse. But anyway, next up was Lars against the Lucha House Party in the match that should have happened at Super Showdown. Him decimating them as he should. So I guess even WWE was like, it's not even worth putting that in Super Showdown because everybody knows it sucks and worthless.
No one's going to watch this turd.
But they did put it here. But it's still, I mean, people that did watch it are like, he got beaten up by them. That sucks, But whatever. He used his headbutt, so I guess that's not banned. Which is good because it looks cool, so fuck it. Let him get brain damage. I don't give a shit.
That's when I'm dead.
Look, as long as he doesn't kill his family, we'll be alright.
True.
Anyway, before I continue, I'm going to just put this right here. Mainly because I forgot to put it at the top of the fucking video. And it's a special shout out to our boy, Abraham Ramirez. You wanted one? Well, you got one. And you know why? Because you're better than Baron Corbin.
Well, true. Everyone's better than Baron
That's
Corbin.
it.
Better wrestler.
Just get your own promotion and already you've beaten Baron Corbin. So anyway, if you want to see Abraham wrestle, trust me, it's better investment of time. Anyway, let's continue with this. Next up was the 24/7 belt being reintroduced again. And, I gave up on it last week. But I gotta say that the 24/7 segments that were littered throughout, it brought it back. It saved it from complete shit again. It's like they're taking me on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So last week I hated it. This week I was like, man, that's kind of funny. Long story short, R-Truth and some of his pursuers get stuck in an elevator for the entirety of the show. And they go from pursuing him to being friendly in the elevator to doing this only talk when I'm holding Carmella's hat thing to EC3 suggesting cannibalism. It was actually pretty funny. It was so stupid it was funny. And then, of course, the elevator eventually opens later on in the show and they spill out and the whole thing starts over again. So I was like, oh, man, they saved it. I was disappointed more than you know, I was enjoying the funny aspects of it. Yeah, just... I don't know. Maybe now the next week or today it'll be okay again. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but so far roller coaster mania. Next up was an interview conducted by Michael Cole, so already that sucks. With Lacey and Becky about their upcoming match. Thankfully, Michael Cole didn't get to speak too much because they just kind of took over and talked to each other. But I gotta say, this was like the most scripted I've heard either of them talk. You know, Becky usually sounds like she's you know, just going off the cuff, and Lacey's pretty good at delivering her piece within character. This sounded like they gave them lines specifically, and they were trying really hard to stay with color within the lines, if you will. That being said, it was fine. So I guess it could have been worse. Could have been Corbin.
Yeah, at least we didn't get
the big dog. Ugh. Anyway,
hurts.
Next up, we had a segment with Alexa and Nikki backstage where Nikki's kind of feeling like this chick is using me, which of course she is. But Alexa turns it on her, convinces her that Bayley's like a big baddie with a big butt. So that kind of left us lingering till their match came up. After that, we had a Miz TV where he was interviewing Samoa Joe, and there's really no failing with Samoa Joe and speaking on the mic. It was good. He built up the idea of him being kind of like the deserving guy that won the belt back from Rey, which of course he didn't. Miz called that into question, and there was this cool little face-off because he called it into question because he said, first of all, you didn't win it back. Second, you kind of crossed the line by bringing Rey's family in, and Samoa stands up. That's right, the nation of fucking Samoa stands up. All of them. That's a big...
Yeah, the world shifted a little bit,
yeah, the balance was a little off kilter there. But anyway, Samoa Joe stands up and faces him and basically suggests, well, maybe I should bring your family into it then. And there was this like tension, and I was like, oh, this is good. This is cool. Give these two characters that are kind of, you know, Rey's injured, so he can't go up against Samoa. And Miz, you know, he got cast aside for that Shane Roman thing. So this is good. You know, give him something to do. And I was like, all right, this is cool. This is interesting. And just then, Braun's music hit. And I'm like, oh. But you know what? As disappointing as that was, that they were actually going to build up something there, immediately after Braun comes in and says, well, I deserve a shot at the belt because, you know, I'm Braun or whatever, Bobby's music hits. And you know what? I gotta give credit to Bobby again, man. He's doing good on the mic now. He doesn't have Leo to help him out. He's actually sounding menacing, and he's like, yo, man, we ain't finished with our business. What? Continuity in WWE? Yes. All right. I'm game now.
It's not the greatest
example. The Braun interruption bummed me out because it interrupted the potential Samoa versus Miz thing. I'm just calling him Samoa now, by the way. But there's a little continuity thing going on here. Then Ricochet comes out, and he's like, yo, think, you know, I've earned my place here, beating Cesaro, doing my thing. Then Cesaro comes out, and at this point, I'm like, how many more people are going to come out? Because you're about to lose me here.
Cartoon.
You know what I'm saying? But Cesaro just comes out and is about to speak, but it really is sucker punches Ricochet, and I'm like, all right, where's this going? So they set up this fucking six-man tag team match with, you know, faces on one side, heels on the other. And you know what? Pretty damn good. It was a good, solid, entertaining, fast-paced match. Lots of good spots. Slight downside in the fact that Samoa Joe kind of took tail and ran. Heel style, mind you. But it was kind of like, damn, I really wanted to see a proper finish with Samoa in there. But then they actually do a proper finish, you know, with the two left over and the three baby faces. It was good shit, man. It was a really good, solid, awesome match. Unfortunately, it looks like Cesaro got injured because Ricochet did the 630 off of the corner, and he didn't land it on his abdomen. He landed on his knee. and he got carried out afterwards.
That's good.
Like they weren't like filming it like, oh,
Yeah,
check it out. They
like
were
in
just
the
like,
back.
oh shit. I think he's bad.
That's good. Freaking Tyson Kidd's crying right now.
Yeah, he's heartbroken.
He's like, oh no, my
Now
boy.
he's all jealous and shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, at this point, Tyson Kidd stopped stroking and he quickly ran to the hospital to see what Cesaro was doing. And I, in turn, continue to watch because I have no life. What followed next was Baron being asked about who he was going to choose for the referee. And normally this would make me want to shoot myself because Baron's talking. But there was this point where Sami comes in and he's like, hey, man, I got to talk to you. Obviously setting up that he wants to be the referee, right? And at this point, obviously, the commentary team was supposed to take over and start talking, but they don't.
Oh, no.
And the camera's still shooting, you know, Sami and Baron. And Sami's just mouthing stuff.
Oh, no.
Like, pretend I'm still talking to you.
Yeah.
And you could hear the little lip smacks like,
oh, no.
and I'm like, oh my God. And then the commentary team's like, oh yeah, so this is it. It's like, oh my God, man.
At least he wasn't doing like the weird background sounds like in that one movie. Like,
Yeah. That would have been awesome. Yeah,
Become
man.
one of those binary guys from Star Trek.
Look, I would have liked that actually. And then if Baron started doing it, that would kind of save Baron. Imagine just that. Baron's gimmick.
If that's his gimmick, then yeah I guess.
Best gimmick
It's better
ever.
than the one he has now, being himself.
And bald.
Yeah.
And this is coming from a bald guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, next up was actually something really good after Baron sucked. Even though Sami was the one doing it.
Yeah.
But it's Baron. The next one was the Becky Bailey team up versus Alexa and Lacey. You know, kind of giving you a preview of things to come as those individuals will face each other respectively in Stomping Grounds. Great match. Just like the six-man tag team match. Really good match, man. Lacey really showing that she belongs with these people. I know she got a little criticism when obviously Vince had a boner and boosted her up to that level so quick. But she's showing that she belongs there. She showed it quite well. And here's the other thing. This is what this really says. If Lacey, who was a relatively new upstart in terms of other people that had brought up from NXT, can show that she belongs there, why aren't all these other people being allowed to show that they belong there?
Why is EC3 hanging in his closet?
Yeah, exactly. So, this is not... I'm not putting down Lacey. I think she deserves to be there. I'm just saying, like, look, there's other people who have been here a long-ass time, and you just have them there rotting on the roster. So anyway, she was doing really good. Becky doing her thing. I only got to call some bullshit on Becky on this one because, Becky, you got to stop calling spots so loud, man. The whole fucking match, like, oh, man, stop. But, whatever. You take the good with the bad sometimes, and that was one of those times. Bailey still being, pushed in the positive way, shown to actually display her abilities versus being a complete loser. So that's cool, man. Alexa looking good. Everything was on the up and up on this match. I really enjoyed that match. Unfortunately, I was followed by Shane backstage. And look, this was the only time in the whole show where Shane was kind of acceptable. He's just hanging out backstage, being a douche. And Sami comes up to him and is basically like talking to him about, being
like
the ref. Yeah, he's talking to him about being the ref for the KO versus Seth Rollins main event that night. And he's like, like, I could be a second set of eyes and call things down the middle. And Shane's like, no, Sami, stop right there. I got a great idea. You could be the ref, you could be a second set of eyes and call things down the middle. And Sami's like, yeah, you're a genius. And he's like, I know. So that was kind of cool. That little smarmy.
Channeling a little Vince in there.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. Unfortunately, we know that eventually he's going to come on and just go back to the greatest in the world shtick, which this should be a part of, but somehow it just doesn't match, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, whatever. It was fine. Next up, Paul Heyman came out and, basically said that because of the things that happened between Seth and Brock at Super Showdown, I forget the name of that stupid event already because it sucked that bad. He was gonna take back the announcements of Brock Lesnar cashing in, and it was gonna be just a random surprise. And you know what? Even though it's kind of redundant when Paul is pushing Brock because it's almost always the same thing. this introduced an element of menace again to Brock. The idea that we don't have to put up with him knowing that he's not going to cash in. And instead it's just like it can happen at any time. All right, I can roll with that.
I never got the point of I'm going to announce my cash in. Doesn't that kind of beat the point?
Yeah, like it's so I'll prepare for it then.
Yeah.
You know?
Take a Uzi in there.
So that was good at the very least. I mean, I could have done without such a long segment, but it reestablished something at least of menace. Next up were the Iconics, and they're really playing up their undeserving champs thing, which was good. They're funny. I like these girls. They're amusing to watch. However, the entirety was not just them playing that up. They were playing it up by setting up a match again with some local losers, and I mean, they might not be losers, but that's what they're being painted as. But anyway, local losers, and that part, it gets like a half okay because them doing their shtick is amusing, but the match was pretty much fucking useless. Yeah. So, all right, I guess.
Still Baron Corbin.
Still better than Baron Corbin. Unfortunately, Shane came out next to do his celebration of being the best in the world, bringing Drew out with him. Drew wearing jeans. That was peculiar. Just used to him being, virtually naked now, which is sad. That I wanted him to be virtually naked. This was a big pile of fucking nothing, man. Nothing. People were pissed. They were like, this sucks. They were starting chants, but it was like, it was almost non-committal. Like, we know this sucks and we can't do anything about it. Like, it was nothing, dude. Nothing was achieved with this fucking segment. Except me being pissed off about it. It sucks, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on with the Shane thing, but it's not working. So anyway, it didn't work.
So what was it? Just
literally nothing. Like, I'm cool. That's it. That was the gist of here, let me drink champagne from my fucking trophy. It sucked, man. I can't explain it other than there was literally nothing. I'm actually trying to remember what more happened, and I can't. That's how bad that segment was. Anyway, next up we had a tag team title match, actually, on Raw. Those are rare. That means something. So this was Hawkins, Ryder, which was the current champion, or which were the current champions, versus the Usos and the Revival. Triple threat, so anybody could tag in anybody. And you know what? This was a good match too. There was no dumb shit. There was no Revival looking like idiots, even though we know they're excellent. There was no Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, being shafted. There was no, well, the Usos are always great unless they're being forced to do comedic garbage that doesn't work with them. It was a good fucking solid match, and the Revival did a kind of sneak tag in, steal the win thing, and they're the champs now. So it feels kind of sucky for Ryder and Hawkins because they didn't really get to do much because of this whole let's just make Raw everything on the product thing that they're doing now, or the headliners anyway. So they didn't really get to do much with the belts, but at the same time, the Revival's been shafted. Maybe there's a chance now that they're getting a bigger push that they could do something with the belts. Now, we don't know what the results of this are going to be, but the match itself was good. So that's a win at the very least. Next up was Firefly Funhouse, and we're getting to see the more assorted personalities, which is very clear that these different puppets and creatures that inhabit the Funhouse are just different facets of Bray Wyatt's personality. We're getting to see them turn on each other and how they work with each other and stuff like that. And the menace of the Fiend always creeping around the corner. Cool. It continues to be great. Now, either this is going to pull off wonderfully or it's going to be the biggest disappointment of all time. Yeah. But at the moment, continues to be great. And of course, the main event was Seth versus KO with Sami Zayn outside as the outside ref.
What?
Now, the match itself was pretty fucking lame for the most part. There was some good spots, but it was a little too pedestrian. It was more about Sami interfering than anything. And that particular portion was good because he's good at being a heel and being crooked asshole. So that was fine. It actually ended up with a DQ and then Baron interfering and trying to make an example out of of Seth, I guess. But Seth just ends up owning him. So I guess I kind of got to approve that it ended with Baron looking scared. But at the same time, I know Baron sucks at everything in life. So he's there, so I don't like it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I gotta say, man, this Raw was really entertaining, man. It never felt long, which the 3-hour show, if you don't, one of our viewers, Marcus, our boy, he watches the Hulu cut. That's the best way to go.
Yeah.
But this is one where I was like, I'm glad I watched the whole thing. It was entertaining, man. Lo and behold, the worst of the week for Raw, not that bad.
Baron.
Except for the Baron stuff. That's always horrid and leads to me castrating myself to ensure that my children, which will never come to exist, never see Baron Corbin. But yeah, other than that, I can't hate, man. I can't hate for once. So anyway, tell us what you thought about this Raw. We'll be back for some SmackDown Smack, and soon enough we'll be posting some more videos. What is it? The hottest?
It's already up.
It's already up. All right. Well, if you haven't checked that
Yesterday's video,
check out our ranking of the hottest WWE ladies. We did that, and we'll be doing some more junk and messing around. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do, but we're gonna do something.
Some.
In the meantime, hit like, share, subscribe, and those notification buttons, because we're out.
Baron.